Now, y'all already know how this goes. Of course, it is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. I am so excited about talking about the men and what's going on with the mental health and everything. Okay, I've been playing with my layovers and everything, trying to get me back into order. I am so excited about the things that are transpiring here with the podcast. I have two amazing people that are coming on this month of November, and I'm going to show you the flyers. Of course, I hope that you tune in on November the um, 12th and November the 19th, as I have those two special guests that are coming aboard to talk about mental health this month of November. Of course, I'm calling November Men-Vember, Men Mental Health Awareness Month. It's not just a conversation, y'all. It's a reckoning because silence has never saved a man. It's a reckoning. A reckoning, you know me. I'm from Houston, Texas. Don't mean I have to sound like I'm country, but at times I find myself saying things that sound countrified. But anyway, it's a reckoning because silence has never saved a man and stigma has never healed a soul. Silence has never saved a man and stigma has never healed a soul. I'm Martica Sherman, the Unapologetic Therapist, here with the corporation Why He Can't, empowered by Why He Can't, Color Me Stigma Free, and now our new PLLC, which I have to get in the state of Texas because I am a professional. It's called Therapeutic Escape Space. I want individuals to be able to escape and be able to talk about things that community and society won't talk about when it comes to stigma and whatnot. So welcome to Men-Vember, a special edition on our podcast honoring Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. I'll be your host, Martica Sherman, of course, licensed professional counselor, creative coach, unapologetic movement builder. Yes, I am. And today we're running with this topic today where we're naming what's been buried, ignored, and misunderstood for too long. Today is Wednesday, November the 5th. I am so excited to talk about these topics. Did you not know 1 out of 10 US adults experienced mental health crisis last year? And men are less likely to seek help. I find this so true, but then it's changing because I'm getting a lot of men who are coming for counseling. And I'm also, if you follow me on all my social media platforms, I would like to highlight men therapy groups. So, men, if you don't want to talk to a woman therapist and you want to talk to a man or man therapeutic group, I am providing that information. I did this week with a male counseling group called Men to Men. Go to my social media page and you will see that information. Men die by suicide nearly 4 times more often than women, with the highest rate among middle-aged men. And we're talking about men middle-aged in between 25 and 45, sometimes even older than that. Black and Latino men face compounded stigma, underdiagnosis, and systematic barriers when it comes to care. Black and brown men face compounded stigmas, meaning that they place them in stereotypes, they place them in groups that they don't belong, all because of their nationality, their race, and they go undiagnosed, as well as systematic barriers when it comes to care because they can't afford it or they work all day, 7 days a week. They don't have time to go to the doctor. Take that time out for yourself. I had to have a discussion about taking time for ourselves. We have to take times for ourselves. It's not being selfish, it's being selfless. When you are not able to give what someone else needs because you're not your full self. And while stigma is slowly decreasing, access to culturally responsive care remains uneven. This is so true. Although stigma is slowly decreasing, because everybody's talking about stigma, everybody's talking about decreasing the stigma, everybody's talking about things when it comes to stigma and stigma barriers, and it's decreasing. But are you giving proper information for it to decrease? Are you giving proper information not just to the women and children, but to the men to help this stigma decrease? Given access to cultural responsive care remains uneven, and that is so true when it comes to the Black and Brown community. It is so uneven. This episode is for fathers, sons, brothers, partners, friends who've been taught to man up. And I talked about this before. Taught to man up instead of speaking out. Men, I need you to speak out. Speak out. Healing comes with speaking. When you want to heal, speak it out. I am gearing up to do some amazing thing for me. And I get told this a lot. It seems like when I'm in a session, I'm more geared towards the male aspect of it, because I say this over and over again. Women, we tell the result, we tell the stories. Oh, we're good at telling the stories. We're great storytellers. But it's the man that comes up with the responses. They're the ones who come up with the solution. They're the ones who come up with the ideas. And we think that we're coming up with all the ideas and everything. But if you actually sit down and talk to a man and got his true idea about a situation, you'd be like, I never thought about that. It's for the men who feel everything but say nothing. This episode, this podcast on today is about the men who feel everything but say it's nothing. They take upon the world stress. They take on home stress. They take on the stress of a woman talking about, oh, you not this and you not that. And then they pass down to the children. Our daddy not doing this and daddy don't act like this. Or it passed down, or goes through the family of everybody saying what he's not. And he takes upon that because the world is already saying what he's not. So why do we have to keep saying what they're not? Why not continue to build the king? Build them up. Shut up in your feelings. It's okay to feel the way you feel. But do he have to hear it? Do he have to know that you feel that way all the time? What's wrong with common conversation? I said this the other week. Common sense and critical thinking are curse words. Common sense and critical thinking are curse words. We don't have common sense. It's not common anymore. Critical thinking, you don't even think about a thing before you even see it nowadays. This episode is also for the ones who carry grief in their jawlines. Whew. Jesus. Anxiety in their silence and trauma in their sleep. I'm going to say that one more time. For those in the vestibule area, in the overflow. This segment, this episode is for those who carry grief in their jawlines. Here. Anxiety in their silence. And trauma in their sleep. He can't sleep. He has anxiety, so he sits silent. And grief in his jawlines. His jaws just, they clench. Because they don't have an outlet. No one to talk to. No one to express the things that they're growing through. Because they were told to man up. You don't need to talk about that. Men don't cry. There's no need to share your feelings with nobody. Won't nobody care about your feelings. Ain't nobody trying to hear all that. Ain't nobody trying to know all of that, what you doing. We're talking emotional suppression and generational conditioning. Emotional suppression and generational conditioning. Men have been taught to suppress their emotion. And because generation upon generation, the men before them have been told men don't cry, men don't have feelings, men don't have emotion, which caused them to have emotional deregulation. They don't know how to regulate their emotions correctly. Faith, masculinity, and mental health. One's faith, one's masculinity, and one's mental health can be challenged. Men sitting up there, they seeing all these things that are going on television with these pastors and everything, and their faith is being tested because they're thinking that God sent these people to do these things. I made this one statement and I say this again. Scripture says many are called but few are chosen. Many carry the calling, but only few are chosen. Figure out the chosen, because the call will always call you for things, but the chosen knows that God is going to supply those things. When it comes to a man and his mental health, he's also being challenged when it comes to his masculinity. We see this on social media all the time with those who are on television, public's eye, all of this, that are men are being challenged for their masculinity. Excuse me. Jesus, bless me. I must be saying something really good. They're challenged for their masculinity. And then their mental health. I can go on and on about a man being challenged about his masculinity and his mental health. And let me go by saying this. Stop. Stop challenging a man about his masculinity, who he is as a man, because you didn't raise him. You're not his mama. And stop trying to raise him, because you're not, that's not your job. Many women are graced for certain men. I say that I'm graced for the man that I have, because Lord knows, Jesus, I have to continue to keep myself in prayer and ask God to continue to have me as that Proverbs 14:1-2. A wise woman buildeth a house, but a foolish one will tear it down with her own mouth. I had to learn that. And not just in my relationship, but with my own sons. I have a grandson. All of that. Therapy doesn't tiptoe, it transforms. Men, there's nothing wrong with therapy. Just like you could sit there in a barbershop and talk, let's talk therapy. Sit down and talk with your counterparts, guys who can be relatable. I'm unapologetic, so I say I'm very relatable when it comes to women, even when it comes to a man, because I tell my couples, I don't have a heaven or a hell or to put you in, but there's nothing on God's green earth that you as a couple is not growing through that I've already been through. I give therapy based off experience. I did the books. I'm experienced. What I've been through, what I've grown through in my lifetime, seeing relationships, seeing marriages, rituals, resources, and radical restoration. What do you do for yourself, men, to take care of yourself, to give yourself self-love and self-care? Don't say I'm a provider, I provide for my family. Don't give me vague stuff. What do you actually do for yourself as a ritual to take care of you, the man? Because one thing I will say, something happens to you, life will continue to go on for that person in same way, both ways. But what do you do to take care of yourself ritualistically to make sure that you're whole, that you're well, and your well-being is taken care of? What resources can you tap into to make sure that your mental health is safe and that you have a safe space to be able to be you, be who you are, not who society says you need to be, but who you are, not the imposter self, but who you truly are. Loving, kind, warm, sensitive, even though you may portray not to be, because certain people may have taken advantage of that. Realistic, that you are resourceful, that you are dynamic, that you're powerful, that you are anointed, that you are everything that you need to be for the time and the place that you're in. Then radical restoration. How can we as a community support and cheer you on to develop yourself and get yourself to a place where you are in the right position? So what you don't have a high school diploma? So what you don't have a college degree? So what you don't have a master's or doctorate? Because society tell you that you need to be this high power man. To me, a high power man is a man of standard and a man of valor, meaning that you have morals and standard that society and the community and the public are not aware of. That you know how to talk to these young men out here and pull their ears to let them know that they're going in the wrong direction, but you can show them even in that wrong direction, they can make a pivot to make a right direction. How can we as a community, how can we as therapists and professionals help you to pivot, to make that radical restoration, to put you in the place where you're supposed to be this whole time? You're not behind. You're not late. None of that. You are right on time, because everything that you have grown through is tools inside of your toolbox to help the next young man out. So whether you're a man navigating your own healing, someone who loves him, or a cycle breaker ready to disrupt the silence, this episode is your invitation. Take a deep breath, my brother. Whether you're father, son, daddy, grandfather, uncle, cousin, any male, take a breath. Let's talk about healing. Healing that is holy, masculinity that is multidimensional, and mental health that is revolutionary. Let's talk about those things. I want to make sure that you know that this is not just a conversation. This is a reckoning. Because silence, my man, has never saved you. And stigma has never healed your soul. What does Men-Vember mean to you? This is the month of November. Men-Vember, Men Mental Health Awareness Month. Why is men mental health still taboo in 2025? Why is it still a non-conversational topic until something happens? Why not make it a continual conversation? If you don't feel safe, say you don't feel safe. If something doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel right. If you're not okay, it's okay to not be okay. What does it cost a man to stay silent? It costs him his masculinity. It costs him his integrity. It costs him his voice more than anything. When a man is silent, it costs him his voice in the community. It costs him his voice to a young man who may need to hear that, or a young woman who needs to know that they're cared about outside of their body types and what they look like on social media and all of this and all of that when it comes to women and men, and putting people in categories because of their background and their upbringing. What happened to the man in the community? What happened? Why have men been silenced? Why have men and masculinity and who they are been silenced? Let's talk about the state of man mental health in the United States. 1 out of 10 experiencing a life crisis last year. Although that's a very low number, but is it low because nobody has said anything? Is it low because men have been silent? Why is that number so low? Men die of suicide nearly more often than women, 4 times more often than women. And I'm sure those numbers are more than that because it's not always being reported. 12.1% of adults report regular anxiety. 4.8% reports regular depression. Black and Latino men, you're placed in the stigma, you're placed in the stereotype, you're placed as underdiagnosed. Where's your voice? What does these numbers reveal to you about emotional landscape of men? I say it's still some numbers unreported. How is it that middle-aged men are the highest among suicidal risks? Do we talk and ask those questions? Is it because they're trying to find work? Is it because of the stressors at home? Is it because of the stressors in school? What are the stressors that are causing these numbers to be high for suicide risk? How do race, class, and masculinity intersect in mental health access? Race, Black and brown, classes, lower class, some middle class. Masculinity intersect, masculinity demasculating a man, not allowing a man to be able to regulate his emotions because you shut him up before he can even say something. Why would you want to have a man to suppress his emotions? Why would you want a man to be able to suppress how he's feeling? We taught men to be strong, but not to be whole. We have taught men to be strong, but we haven't taught them to be whole. What does a whole man look like to you? Men. What does a whole man look like to you? Have you ever seen a man that's whole? Meaning that he is in a safe space. He is able to himself. Don't mean that he has to have this amazing 6-figure income. I've seen men who don't even have a 6-figure income are more happier than a man who has a 6-figure income. those stressors. How does toxic masculinity shape emotional suppression? Toxic masculinity. People talking to you negatively, saying what you're not, what you can't do. Society already has their thumb on you and you're steady trying to get up. You're already below pay grade when it comes to a job because of your race and culture or your nationality, even though you may know more than everybody inside of that office. That's why I don't like the word dummy down. Won't you dummy down your resume? You don't have to show that you have all this. Show it. Nothing wrong with it. Show it. What are the myths about men and vulnerability? One myth is what men don't like to talk about their mental health. Men don't cry. Men are not emotional. Men are not supposed to show that they're emotional. How can a man be vulnerable? If he's vulnerable, then he's this. If he's vulnerable, if he shows his feelings, then he's not. No, he needs to. It's called emotional regulation. I don't want a man who can't regulate his emotion around me. It's like a ticking time bomb. I need him to have talk therapy. I don't care if you just want to sit down and talk to me and we have candid conversation. Just have conversation to be able to be an outlet. I used to always say that I was a person's sounding board. Have you ever just sat down and just had a clear conversation with a man? Asking him, how does he feel? If he's okay? Do he need anything? Do he need a moment? Do he need a moment of solitude? Do he need to go sit somewhere and just have an USA moment? How do we ask a man to express his pain when they're not allowed to name it? Men, how do you express your pain when you're not allowed to name it? If you heard my podcast before, I said, name it, confess it, and then do away with it. Let it go. Expressing your pain is nothing wrong with that. It's okay to express your pain. It is totally okay to express your pain. And it don't always have to be with your fellow homeboys or guys around you. Be creative with your pain. Share your pain. What does it look like when men begin to heal out loud? That is a phenomenal celebratory moment. When a man can begin to heal out loud, it's giving him a voice to tell the community, I need help. And I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to say that this bothers me. I will no longer be silent to society and how they want to stigmatize and stereotype me because it's been going on for centuries. How does faith, tradition support, or silence men emotional need? How do faith, tradition support, or silence a man's emotional need? Faith, tradition support. I believe it's silence more than support a man's emotional need. Because so many people are going to social standards of how to tell a man how to regulate his emotions. See this on social media. See that on social media. Don't this look good on social media? Don't that look good on social media? Till a lot of men are not even going to church anymore. They rather sit with their phones in front of them and be on there watching things on social media than to sit in a church setting for faith because of what's going on inside of most churches. Let's just be honest. If a man is not working, but he has the work mindset, and these pastors are constantly asking for money, 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 time, time, time. But you know, I don't have the funds to take care of my home. Excuse me. But you want to condemn me because I can't give like the brother with six figures who may not be able to give you or may not be giving you exactly what you're asking for him to give either. There's a lot of condemnation when it comes to church and men. Heck, individuals, period. What does healing look like for Black and brown and indigenous men? Healing to me looks like them having a voice and healing out loud. Being a voice and saying what is bothering them. What does what do generational belief about manhood mean, and how does it impact mental health? Well, first and foremost, y'all know me. I am talking about generational behavior patterns being broken. Just because grandfather did it don't mean you have to do it. Just because dad did it don't mean you have to endure it. You can change the trajectory. You can change the storyline of your life. Doesn't have to be like your dad's. Doesn't have to be like your uncles or anybody before you. Especially if you know the behavior was not a good one. You don't have to follow in that same footstep. You can be the change. You can be the generational breaker. You can be the generational behavior pattern breaker. What does it mean to be a cycle breaker in your family or community? I just explained that. You don't have to be like everybody else in your family. You can change. You can be the change. You can be the pivotal moment behind that last name that you have to change the whole generational bloodline and pattern for the men in your life, for the men that may come along behind you, for your nephews, for those who are coming along behind you. You can change that generational behavior pattern. You can. Not just the woman. A man can. You're the matriarch. Or the patriarch, excuse me. You're the patriarch. You can change it for that family. You can change behavioral patterns. Healing isn't weakness. It's a work of legacy. Heal out loud so your legacy can be known out loud. Heal out loud so your legacy, just like these things that happened back in the times when those before us were out there and they were picketing and standing up for and being radical for and making statements about be that and do that for your family and your community. Healing isn't weakness. It's a breaking of generational behaviors. Today, I want you to affirm, I am allowed to feel. I am allowed to heal. I am allowed to be whole. Man, you are allowed to feel. You are allowed to heal. and you are allowed to be whole. This message for Men-Vember is not just a month. It's not just for this month. It is a moment, a pivotal movement. And every time a man heals out loud, he gives permission for others to do the same. Give others the voice to do the same. Give others the voice to do the same. Give them that moment. Show them that they can have a voice out here. These young boys, that's why their behavior is what it is. Because nobody is giving them the okay to have the voice to say, this is not right. This behavior is not conductive. This is not a good behavior for me. I need to not behave in such a manner. I need to do better by investing time in caring for my mental health. Be the voice. Don't be the problem. Be the solution. Be the solution. So here's my call to action. I'm going to submit a ritual kit, and you'll get the link to download. Also, for my next podcast, submit your story for our next week podcast. Submit a story. DM me. Email me. info@whyhecan't.com. Let me know. Text me and tell me you got a story. It could be anonymous. Nobody has to know who wrote it. Submit your story for our next podcast episode. Let me tell your story. Let me tell your story of your win. We want to celebrate you as a man. A lot of men are not always celebrated unless they're in the public's eye. But I don't know your celebratory moments. Share with those so they can know that they can do it too. Join the Legacy Circle for men healing and mentorship. Join our circle. Be a part. On November the 15th, if you don't know, I'm telling you right now, this isn't your average open house. Come out November 15th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Light refreshments. Come meet the Unapologetic Therapist, Martica Sherman. Come out, grab a bite to eat, see where the location is, ask your questions. You can pull me out to the side. Come out. You see this flyer on all my social media platforms. Come out to the open house. I'll be talking about the groups that's going to be going on. I'm going to be doing groups virtually as well as in person. Come out. Then I said on November the 12th, I will have this beautiful young lady, Trina Hill, who's going to come and talk about grief in slow motion. When you're taking care of your loved ones, your parents, mother, father, or both parents, and watching them in their age and you become their parent because they have dementia, Alzheimer's, MS, and that long goodbye of watching them, caring for them, loving on them as they did you as a child. Come sit with us. Let's talk about grief in slow motion and get the tools to add to your toolbox. Come sit and listen to this young lady talk about how and provide the tools of what she used to care for her parents. I have a father, and I'm watching him even though he's in another state. But it's taking care of your parent and watching them with this illness. You need the tools. Come sit and talk with us. You can also send your questions, your concerns. Send it to my email address, info@whyhecan't.com. Or text me questions that you may have at our number 346-525-4981. Then on November 19th, men, Wired for Wonder, unmasking neurodivergence, ADHD, and autism with soul and science. This young man, Mr. Cooper, has an amazing story. I hope that you can join us for this. This is some powerful information from a young man. This is Men Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm excited. Then don't forget, save the date, January 24th. We're doing some great things January 24th. We're talking about mental health on a larger scale. We're talking about healing out loud in our mental health circle. January 24th, I should have a location for you by the end of this month. There's some other things going on. Be on the lookout on all my social media pages. I'm here to celebrate the men who are so much not celebrated. Men, let's heal out loud. Come to talk therapy. Let's have conversation. Let's talk about things that society deems unconversational. Let's heal out loud, and let's heal out loud together. My black and brown men, let's do this. Why? Because there are some women out here who got you. And I'm one. I got you. Let's do this. Until then, you know I love you to life. And like I always say, when you know better, you do better, and you respond differently. It's your girl, Martica Sherman, the Unapologetic Therapist. Until November the 12th, where we're talking about grief in slow motion. Because some men are taking care of their parents. Let us equip you with tools in your toolbox. But more importantly, I hope to see you at our open house on November 15th. Until then, I love you to life. Have a great evening.